Hey, it's Jody Taylor of snackysays.com. Welcome back to my podcast. Today I want to talk about abs, core work. Abs are something that I have avoided. I didn't think I was very good at it. As a matter of fact, I knew specifically movements like leg raises, flutter kicks. My feet would drop to the ground like concrete. I just could not do it. That being said, I've been plugging along for many years working out, and consistently the last 5+ years. And I guess as a byproduct, first of all, I got stronger without really noticing it. Let's stick a pin in that. The second thing that happened is that I decided to do this abs challenge. Today is November 30th, 2022, and I decided to start one on November 1st. I took before pics, I took pics midway through, and tomorrow, December 1st, I'll take pics again. I'm not going to post them because I literally took these pics of like my hair sticking up and not a good look. I do have some pride, so I won't do that. I don't know how interested you would be anyway, but I've noticed a difference in how I feel. In 30 days, I knew from the onset that I probably wasn't going to see a big difference after 30 days, but I do notice a difference in how I feel and what I can actually perform. So within 2 weeks, and this is the last day, and I'm just going to restart tomorrow because I'm getting a kick out of it. 2 weeks, 1 week, I noticed like, okay, my abs are hurting. The obliques are hurting different, like I'm restoring different places. By the second week, I noticed I could do moves. I was more willing to do moves that I would have modified before or skipped. I am the master of modification and substitutes. Like, I don't want to do this or I can't do this, so here is a move I can do instead. Without even making a decision about it, for some reason, I didn't do that this time. I did the workout on the screen to the best of my ability. So if the instructor was doing it 20 times and I could do it twice with good form, that's what I did. So the third week, out of nowhere, like a fitness miracle, I was able to do leg raises. I couldn't believe it. I put on an abs routine that I hadn't done before. Oh, by the way, if I didn't say, I did 5 to 10 minutes. It's the first thing I do, and then I get into my regular workout routine, which is 60 minutes total, including starting out with abs, 5 to 10 minutes. So I put on an all blank abs routine. I'll put the link in the show notes. And it was the very first move, leg raises. And I thought, I can't do it. But whatever, I'll throw my feet up and they'll just crash to the ground. And they didn't. I was able to do the whole 30 second. Like, I feel like I've hit the last few months, and I've actually had some rough patches physically during the summer where I just wasn't moving enough. I think I spoke about this in another episode, but let's call that a kind of rest and recovery period, because I came back swinging the last month or so. Like, really, I've been able to do things that I haven't been able to do ever or in a long time. And I spoke about this in my modifications episode. I think it's because I've sometimes relied too much on modifications. And in order to progress, I've heard Millionaire Hoy say this before. I actually had written him before about my push-ups, which are still abysmal. And he basically said, in order to progress, you have to progress. Like, you can't keep doing wall push-ups and expect to get to standard push-ups, right? So you can't keep doing only, in my case, confession time, like cherry picking, standing abs routines that I could do, but weren't necessarily challenging and weren't going to get me to the point where I could do leg raises. How am I going to do that standing up, right? So I learned a lot. The first 2 weeks, every day I did a different routine. And I either did 2 5 minutes or 2 8 minutes or 1 8 minute or 1 5 minute, something like that, as long as it was at least 5 minutes, and usually not longer than 10. And then the last 2 weeks, I'm actually going to open up my YouTube here. The third week, I did Ginny Diet's ab routine that made Somi and Twice's Momo's abs. It's a 15-minute video, but the first 5 minutes is just her explaining. It's in Korean, but you can put the subtitles on in your language, which might be, I guess, English if you're listening to this, or one of your languages. And so I did that for 7 days, and it was tough. It was tough. I might go back and do that again at some point, but I stuck with it. I did it for 7 days, and then I thought I would go back to variety, but I didn't. I ended up doing Lily Sabri's Killer 11 line abs. That was also 7 days. Not nearly as tough and a different abs workout than the one I just mentioned. So I'll link those. And now I'm back to, in this last week, today's Wednesday. I'm just going to keep going Thursday and Friday. But now I'm back to doing a different abs workout every day. I'll put some of the ones that I did. Mr. and Mrs. Muscle, I love their ab workouts. All Blank TV. Oh, pro tip, if there is a workout and in the title it says lazy day abs, don't get fooled like me. It's anything but. The 2 toughest abs workouts that I've ever done had lazy in the title. And one of them I didn't even do during this challenge. Like earlier in the year, I was looking for abs routine, something low key. And it was like torture. I'll see if I can find it. I don't even remember who the instructor was. If I find it, I'll put it in if you want to torture yourself. Or maybe you're not like me and it's fun. I'll put it in the show notes. So let me just check my notes. I don't usually have notes, but for this, I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. This was just kind of like me chitty-chatting. A couple things, if I didn't mention already, no, I didn't mention this, but how I keep track of the abs challenge. So I have a fitness journal. I call it a fitness journal. It's just a plain notebook. I usually order 7x9. I actually have 3 of them sitting next to me, stacked up right here. And so at the beginning of the day, like today, I just write out what I want to do for my workout. I take a look at YouTube. I look at Millionaire Hoy's fitness app and see what the workout of the day is or what the workout in the current challenge I'm doing is. Monica Fit, I do 10 to 20 minutes of her workouts every day, at least for November. And so I pick which one I'm going to do. So I write that at the top with little check boxes. And that changes. You know, by the time I start working out, I might decide, I don't want to do that workout. I want to do this one. But I find that when I have some structure, it really sets the tone and I'm not waffling about as much, you know. I can't tell you, like when I don't do that, I end up standing in front of the TV with my phone looking through different workouts. And that could take like 10, 20 minutes. I just find it's easier to, first thing in the morning, even if I'm not going to work out for a few hours, I usually do that first thing in the morning. And so I'm set. I took before pics, midway pics, and tomorrow, today is November 30th, tomorrow's December 1st, I'll take after pics. Really, this is for entertainment purposes for myself. Do I really think I'm going to see a big change in 30 days? No. Did I change the way I ate, which is important? The first 2 weeks, no. First 2 weeks, I wasn't eating all that great. And I also realized around that time that I was consuming way too much sodium, which was making me look puffy. I did switch things around the last couple of weeks, but that's not really because of the abs challenge, but it started with me realizing that I was consuming too much sodium. Coincidentally, around the same time, my cousin mentioned the blood type diet, and when I looked up my blood type, I've already changed to that diet and seen like really good results inadvertently. This just happens to be after much experimentation. If you've heard me talk about this in other episodes, like food labels, intermittent fasting, and I'll link those in the show notes. I've just decided on this way. I've come to this way of eating because it suits me best and I feel most comfortable. And it turns out it's like my blood type diet. Am I recommending this to you? No. Is it worth checking out? Absolutely. Why not? Why not? In my case, it made me giggle. I was like really surprised. To me, it just felt really spot on. And so I've been dabbling in that. Like, I didn't go through the cupboards and throw things out, but I'm just paying more attention. And in the next few months, I'm going to move more and more and more just to see, like, let's just experiment and see, like, okay, I'm feeling a lot better compared to a year ago. But a year ago, I didn't even realize that I wasn't feeling, for lack of a better expression, 100%. Like, once I stopped eating meat, just me personally, I felt a lot lighter. And so maybe a year from now, I'll be like, oh, well, I stopped. And by stopped, I don't mean like forever, ever. That's a long time. Who knows what's going to happen? But let's say cut down. I cut down or eliminated some things. Or a better way is I added a bunch of things. Like beans are something that I have historically disliked, and I've added way more beans to my diet this year. A funny thing that I've added a lot of is chickpeas, which according to my blood type diet is not the best for me. So that was interesting to find out. Because like, even though I feel a lot better, I still feel like there's a lot of room for improvement. So I'm going to experiment with that. So that was kind of an aside, but related. So it'll be interesting to see in the next several months or the next year or two what happens with my abs as I continue to experiment with how I eat and what I eat and when, and experiment with movement. Like, one thing about the internet and YouTube, the other thing that I've done the last 30 days is watch videos about anterior pelvic tilt, which I think I have. Watch videos about ab exercises. And I mention anterior pelvic tilt because the Sarah Beth Yoga video that I watched, which I'll see if it's available outside of her app. I feel like it is. It's probably on YouTube. Talked about like, oh, but these certain moves aren't great for anterior pelvic tilt. And as she's going through them, I'm like, yep, check. I do all those. And maybe that's okay. Like, maybe I don't do them every day. Maybe I just do them sometimes. So I guess what I'm getting from this and where I'm going with this is whether it's a blood type diet or a certain way to move, listen. Keep an open heart. Listen to what folks are saying and what's worked for them, whether they're experts or not. Like if they're just talking about their experience, and then test it out if you're keen. Test it out on yourself to see if that's true for you. As long as it's not hurting you, I for one, am certainly not going to do anything that's going to hurt myself. Like, go with your gut feeling. And if you're open to it and keen, experiment. Because there's more than one way to skin a cat. No cats were harmed in the making of my abs. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to say. As a semi-recap, I'll end with, if there is something that you want to improve on, the best way to improve on that thing is to do it. Like, have you ever heard that quote, how do I become a writer? Write. How do you get abs? Work on your abs. Do abs routines. That's like the biggest thing I was missing. And I think that's easy. It easily happens. And I know for my case, because when it comes to health and fitness, there are so many things to work on. It's never ending. It is a journey, right? It's like, get your sleep right, eat this, do this kind of movement, take supplements, don't take supplements. What's your protein intake like? There's a lot to consider. But I'm coming to the realization that even though there's a lot to consider, take your time and fold it in. Master one thing, get that right, and then start on something else and master that, get that right, and then instead of trying to do everything. So now I'm at a point where I'm in the habit of working out. Check. So what can I specifically work on? Well, now I've decided I'm going to work on my abs. I've been changing how I eat, but it has been a very long process, extremely long, and it ain't over. Like I said earlier, I might decide like, well, I ate this way and I want to eat the other way. I want to go the other way. Like, it depends, right? It might depend on your age. It might depend on your circumstance. If you're single, that's probably the best time. You're single and you're living alone, or if you're living with someone and you eat the same, like your roommate or your partner, that's like kind of easy. Simple and easy maybe. But if you're single and now you have a boo or bae, wifey, hubby, that might change how you eat. That may change your schedule, right? So while things are smooth, go for it. And I'm not saying if you are booed up or you have a roommate, you can't follow your fitness goals or like stick to it. I'm just saying. Okay, I feel like I'm going off on a rant. I just wanted to share my abs challenge experience. I'll do a follow-up maybe in another 30 days or in a few months. And I'll end with a quote that, because I've been talking so long, I'm not sure I mentioned in the beginning. Millionaire Hoy, I'm paraphrasing him, said, "Abs are made in the gym and revealed in the kitchen." So just another reminder to take a holistic view of whatever your fitness challenge or goal is. There's probably not just one way to get the goal, to achieve the goal that you want, the result that you want. So yes, you can work out in the gym, but also maybe think about what you're eating and give yourself some grace and some time. If you've listened to any of my episodes or read a newsletter or blog post of mine, you know that I love the long game. Give yourself time. These clickbaity titles that you'll see in the show notes and that I've mentioned are great. They're fun. And depending on where you are, sure, you might get results in 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. But if not, there's nothing wrong with it taking years. Nothing. And that's probably extremely realistic, because when I started, I was not as in shape as I thought I was. So it's been a process, right? I am finally at the point where I'm doing things that I thought for sure I could not do, which, funny enough, when I started out, I would have looked at it 5 years ago and said, oh, I can do that. How do I know? Because the first Millionaire Hoy videos I did, I went into them with such enthusiasm, like, yeah, I can do that. And I couldn't. It's taken time. I'm now at the point where I can. So I'm really going to wrap up now. If you made it this far, you are the MVP of listening to my podcast episodes. That's me cracking my knuckles in the background. I hope you didn't hear that. I really appreciate you. Please contact me. Tell me about any challenges, fitness challenges that you are doing and success you've had, things that you want to try or have tried. You can contact me at Jodie, Joddie, at snackysays.com. I think I've covered everything. I feel like I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this. Yeah, I think I will. So thanks for listening. This is Jodie Taylor of snackysays.com. Take care.